Good morning, gentlemen. I'm going to talk to you about battle in Ukraine. It would be interesting to know what's happening, and the problem is very acute. Acute in the sense that it appears that the United States and the NATO powers have had second thoughts about supporting Ukraine. America has to face China, and the American economy is beginning to tank. Yesterday, the 16th biggest bank of America collapsed. That is a sign of economic problems coming in America. America must remember that even the god Kuber, his coffers became empty at one stage, and they should be very careful in spending money indiscriminately. And Joe Biden made a very foolish statement when he went to Ukraine and said that we will support Ukraine as long as it gets. How can you make such a statement? And now that's not realistic. The Americans are not able to react. An American Reaper drone was hit by a Russian fighter. It fell in the Black Sea. So, other than a few protests here and there, I don't think America is going to declare war on that issue with Russia. You can't do it. On the contrary, I think the Americans are having second thoughts of continuing to help Ukraine. Ukraine is now in dire states. I think the battle in Bakhmut has gone on a little too long. The Russians should by now have wrapped up the city. But all the same, they are inflicting heavy casualties on the Ukrainians. And I think the Ukrainian army is losing morale also. So, that being the case, we do not know what's going to happen because President Xi is in Moscow now, and he may have come with his own proposals. Because Russia needs the backing of China to continue the war, and we'll have to see whether the Chinese are going whole hog to back China, Russia, or no. As far as the war in Ukraine is concerned, I think Russia has achieved a lot. But a lot means nothing because Ukraine is still fighting. And probably they would have collapsed if the Americans had not given them the weaponry. And the EU were not giving tanks and other things to them. Russia has to bite the bullet. They must remember that when you fight a war, it's a total war. They started by fighting the war in Russia as in Ukraine as a limited military engagement. It's not like a walk in the park. They didn't want to harm the Ukrainian population, but then Ukraine had other ideas and wanted to continue to resist the Russians. And now, gentlemen, you know what's happening. Well, all I will say is that the war is continuing and something exciting is likely to happen. But there are so many people who have forecast that this war could lead to a nuclear war. That's a reality, and it cannot be brushed under the carpet. You can't say, okay, forget about it. No. Because the Russians, in case they feel frustrated at some stage, could resort to a nuclear explosion in Ukraine. And what will happen to poor Ukraine? It's a devastated country. 10 million refugees, almost 25% of the population sitting in Europe and other countries. Now, a country where 25% of the population has run away, devastated, just fighting on with weapons being given by the West, must realize that they are using Ukraine as a fodder for their own deeds, for their own acts. And Zelensky is not the right man to lead Ukraine. Well, I'm no one to say that. The Ukrainian people have to decide, and we'll have to wait and see what happens, gentlemen. The war is on, and it's in favor of the Russians. And NATO has developed cold feet in fighting Russia. That's the actual truth. I close now, gentlemen, and say goodbye. God bless. Subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and don't forget to like it. And I close now. Jai Hind. Glory to India.